back, everybody. I want to film a quick market watch / my thoughts on the spoiler season for Dusk Till Dawn. Please subscribe, hit the like button. We'll be streaming a whole bunch, like 30 plus cases worth of Dusk Till Dawn a week before release. It's just a matter of us getting the stock. So tune in for that. Also, flugenbox.com's getting a big update, so all the singles you'll see pre-orders for very, very soon. But without further ado, I'm going to do the legendaries and majestics mainly for this, and I'll stop on any notable stuff. Empyrean Rapture. So the new Prism basically works off Herald's going into her soul to do a whole bunch of stuff. Herald goes into soul. You may search his deck for a Figment, put it in the arena, and shuffle, which is actually huge because Figments cost 4 resources to spend to activate. So hitting with a Herald's going to mean a lot. And then it costs 2 to awaken the Figment, which is flipping it to become the ally. But the reason Empyrean Rapture, I believe, is going to see play is it synergizes immediately with Prism, and it makes that awakening ability free. It has to be during your turn, but I think the only way Heralds are going to go in your soul is usually on your turn anyway. And the ward thing is clunky, but I think you'll use it to just survive maybe late game when you already have allies out, and you just need to... the one life becomes a big deal for an on-hit or something. This comes in extended art. I believe this will be one of, if not the most expensive card in the set, in the extended art. I won't show the Fable. It has been spoilt, so I'm sure you can find that if you want to, but I don't believe the Fable's strong enough to warrant being more expensive than an Empyrean Rapture in full art. Also, it's freaking gorgeous. Obviously, the art is... It's like a light tunic. This is going to be huge. This card, I think will be played more than Vestige, more than Tunic on the new Prism. I'm not going to delve into every single Figment, but all 8 are very cool. I don't know if, same as Dromai, I don't believe you put every Figment in the deck, although they're all legendary, so it's only 8 cards total being taken up, so maybe you do play all 8. But they're all yellow, they all cost 4, they all are instants. I think that's the downside of them. From a cost perspective, these are going to be high-value Majestics nonetheless, because they have very cool art and come in Marvels, and you're probably going to need them to play the new Prism. So all the Heralds, not all, but there's a full set of the Heralds that come in full art, non-foil. I think these will still be $5 to $10 each, because they're very good for competitive play, because they won't curl. And... it's the only place to get them, really. But I won't delve into... Again, we know what these Heralds are. It's just you get a full art non-foil, or you can as a rare. Odd that they've reprinted these, but it's kind of cool anyway. Bolton's new weapon, Beaming Blade. It's a rare. I believe this comes as a cold foil armory promo or some kind of promo that's coming. If I'm not mistaken, Alex from Tales of Alex got this in the mail. Now... I believe this is really good. This might end up commanding a premium, although it's only a rare, it's equipment, so you won't see a million of them when you open. But 2 for 5 seems good, and I think there's a chance that Bolton's playing yellow line, maybe to synergize with the new Fable, but also all their power cards are yellow. A bunch of the new, all the Bannerettes are yellow, I believe, and... This weapon might end up seeing a lot of play. I think it's between this and Raiden now will be the best build for Bolton, but that's just theory crafting. I'm not 100% sure. The new chess piece is actually crazy. Again, I don't know if this does overtake Tunic and Vestige, but it charges the soul twice a game, and charge is much stronger than just putting a card in the hero's soul, which doesn't turn on Bolton's ability, but... It's basically what it is you block for 2 the first time. You put a card in soul, it actually prevents, well, it blocks 1 more, so it prevents an extra damage, so it's 3. And then it goes temper, so you get to do that 1 more time. So you block for 3 and then for 2, theoretically, which is actually very strong, but very easily negated by something like Vambrace. So, but this will be cool to see Bolton play a new chess piece. And also lets Bolton steer away from playing Courage of Blade Hold. So you might see Axes builds, and you might see Raiden doesn't cost anything to use, so this plus Raiden might be the new Bolton. The Majestics, the Bannerettes, I like these. I know they're not very strong on paper, but they're 1-for-4s. The go again comes from using your hero ability on Bolton, so a lot of times you might be able to go 1-for-4 with go again. But Soul Flare is very cool because if you flip this off the top, for instance, and charge your soul with it, at least you get something. So courage tokens +1, damage to the next attack next attack weapon or attack action. Quicken token, which is free go again. Spellbane Aegis, which is going into a non-attack. No, wait. This is the 1 arcane, 1 spell void. I like them. I like the Bannerettes. I don't know if they'll be very expensive. I think the promo versions will be expensive, but I think these are auto includes in Bolton. They block 3, they cost 1, they're yellows. They just work. Any card on Bolton that charges, I believe, can see play. This might have been told to me, spoiler. This also does the attack from graveyard, so the thing is, it's a light warrior action, right? So I don't know if this ends up being an expensive Majestic, but I do think if Bolton becomes meta, then these become very good cards. I like how they're all Bolton art as well. It's very cool. Makes me happy that they're not Dory art. Means hopefully we're not getting any Dory light warrior stuff. But I got the Bannerettes wrong. There's other Bannerettes which are the promos. These Majestic ones look good. There's rare ones as well. I like the Banneret cards. I think that's how you'll end up playing Bolton because you get some extra value. Moving on. I've asked Frank from the Photoshop stuff to Photoshop this art set of Radiant into one art piece. I believe the chest piece and the leg piece is actually the same art, or it looks like the same art, just cut. These are kind of cool. I don't know if you'll see them played a lot, but these in cold form might end up commanding your premium just because they're very pretty. Also, though, they might be good because they preventing 2 is potentially better than Arcane Barrier, especially if you're playing a version of Bolton that puts a lot of cards in Soul. But as common equipment go, most of the time they're not worth anything. United We Stand. I believe this will be a flop, complete flop, till PvE comes out. So I think you can buy these pretty cheap when the set releases. It's obviously very cool and flavorful. I just don't think it has any value at all until PvE comes out because you actually can't use it because you don't have a party. Lumina Lance is a massive card. It's E-Strike and Celestial Cataclysm mixed in a way, the art anyway. But, well, basically you can pick all modes. And all modes is +2 to the attack, draw a card, and gains go again. It's massive. You can use Lumina Lance into a Celestial Cataclysm as an example, which is insane. But we'll see. I do believe this will see a lot of play. I do believe just because of the art, this will end up being something like Celestial Cataclysm pricing. Don't know if this will see much play, but same thing. It's similar to the equipment. It does stay out though, which is cool. Like it's a bit like the, I can't remember what it's called now, Dissipation Sphere for Mechanologist. But banishing a card just to prevent 1 doesn't seem very strong. This might be strong in a very fatigue-oriented Bolton, maybe. I don't know. I can't see this being a very expensive card or anything. And I think that's it for the light stuff. Hellhammer might see playing Blitz. Anything that's, you can only use the weapon once. It doesn't seem super strong, but it's 2 for 6. And you banish it, but it does fill your graveyard, and it is a 6 attack, so I think it works quite well on Levia as a way to turn off Blood Debt if you have no other way to turn off Blood Debt. The art is very cool too, but again, time will tell. I believe this is very strong. Am I looking at the right thing? No, I'm not. This is not the legendary one. Never mind. Sports Skull is action. Banish this. Target 3 action cards with different names in Banish Zone. Choose one at random. You may play it. Playing anything from Banish Zone on Shadow Brute seems strong. I think that's what they're leaning into. It does have Arcane Barrier, so this will just be an auto include, I think, for some Levia decks, but time will tell. Also has Blood Debt on the equipment, which is kind of odd, but I think you're leaning into this now, wanting to stack up Blood Debt so you can transform your Levia. I thought the legendary would be up here, but it's not. Death Hydra deals X damage to you, where X is 13 minus. This is similar to the Hexagore text, where it's 6 minus. Again, I think this is what Levia is leaning into, so this will end up being quite a strong card. But again, paying 6, though, we'll see. Remembering you can play this out of Banished with some other synergies, this could be very strong. But again, Shadow Brute action will never really command a big premium as a Majestic because it's not generic, unless it's Levia's in the meta. This is banished from your hand this turn. You may play it. Very cool. I don't play Levia, but I'm sure there's many ways to force this, and 1 for 6 is obviously stupid value. Expendable Limbs, defense reaction. If card is 6 or more is banished this way, you may play it from Banish Zone during the next action phase. So as an additional cost, banish. So this is, again, speeding up your filling your graveyard or your Banish Zone with cards. It's good, but... Sorry, Expendable Limbs. Blood Dripping Frenzy. As an additional cost to play this, banish your card. Banish your hand. Draw a card for each card of Blood Debt banished this way. Your next get plus... This is... I don't know, again, if this is good, but it's like a way to... It's like soul food, right? It's a way to throw a lot of Blood Debt into your graveyard. Another way for Levia to turn off Blood Debt as well. I was expecting the Levia Legendary, but it might be... I can't remember the card name, so maybe it's later in the thing. Interesting to see Vinsset Adult is a Majestic, so don't expect to see many. Hopefully this comes in Rainbow Foil. Might be worth a bit of money in Rainbow Foil early on. So we were hoping we'd get offhands or another weapon, and I think we got both for Vinsset. I won't go into the flail because everyone should have seen that by now. Banish this, create an Eloquence. So Eloquence is go again for the next non-attack action. It's quite strong. It has AB, so definitely you don't play Arcane Lantern on Vinsset. Has Blood Debt, which on Vinsset I think matters a little bit because I don't think she can clear Blood Debt. Widespread Annihilation. In this combat, Rune Gate, so if you have 4 rune chances, cost is 0 for 4. When the combat chain closes, each hero who lost life this turn banishes a card from their hand. Odd mechanic, obviously, because why would you damage yourself? But I think you can point a rune chant at yourself if for some reason you want to banish a card. But we'll see. I have no idea how Vinsset, what the lines look like, what the play patterns look like, so it's hard for me to gauge. But again, pricing will only matter on how meta Vinsset is out the gate. Pun intended. We did that one. Widespread Ruin. Rune Gate again. I'm trying to remember. No, so there are rares and commons with Rune Gate. I was hoping to see a lot more commons and rares with Unity on them, but we didn't get those. So Unity seems to be valued quite highly and they haven't just overprinted that. Very cool art on Widespread Ruin. Rune Gate again, except this one is 2. So it's 0 for 6. I think this is quite strong because it's only 2 rune chants. It's not hard to make it. Also, it becomes a 1 for 6 if all you've done is last turn swung with flail. So this is like off a tunic, really. Because you can swing flail for just life cost. So you can swing flail the turn before, create a rune chant, and if you have tunic floating the next turn, you can block with your whole hand and then still come in for 6, which is kind of crazy. The art on the Vinsset cards, or this set cards, are crazy. Don't know if this is super strong, but if Era has lost life, you may play this, although it was an instant. You can obviously make yourself lose life. So you swing flail, lose life, It hits, create a rune chant, then Funeral Moon, creating another rune chant, and then passing. And you'll have 2 rune chants floating for your rune gate for your rune gate mechanic next turn, which is good. I think this is auto include in every Shadow Rune Blade, which at the moment is Chain in Blitz and Vinsset. Very, very strong. I believe this will just be in every deck. You may play this from your Banish Zone. Vera has lost life. You may play this as an instant. Create an Eloquence again. Eloquences go again for none attacks. It's good. I wonder if Eloquence reacts with Funeral Moon to give you an extra... If it gives you an extra action point. Because if it does, then you can do some funny things with Swing Flail, create the rune chant, hold priority. If you had an Eloquence, play Funeral Moon as an instant, create an action point off it, and another rune, and you know what I mean? And then maybe swing something for 6. Like, it'll be quite unexpected, but I think that's possible, that interaction. Play this only if you create exactly 6 rune. Create Nazareth Soul Harvester. Wait, what's Nazareth Soul Harvester? I don't know. I'm sure I've seen it, but I can't remember. We'll have to look for that. So this is like Doomsday and whatever, but 6 rune chants to do it. It's an instant, but you can only have 1 in the deck. We'll see if that's played at all. Aha. Levia redeemed. This is what we want. This is going to be easily tied with the Prism chess piece for the most expensive card. Now, this is legendary Marvel potential, I believe. So I think, depending how rare it is, this will be the most expensive card. It'll also, again, depend on if it actually makes Levia very playable in CC or meta in CC. It's a double-sided legendary. Very, very cool mechanic, brand new mechanic, but I just don't know how many people want to play Levia. So I'm sure that's changed after people have seen this card, but time will tell as to what the value is. I don't think this is like a crap legendary whatsoever, and I also think it's a must include if you play Levia, so I'm expecting this to carry a lot of value. Very excited to see this card in play, actually. If your hero would be dealt damage, you may prevent 2. It banishes it with Blood Debt. I think these Darkness equipment are going to see play because it's more or less can block 2 or block or prevent. So it's for Arcane Barrier or physical damage. Also, there's plenty of ways to turn off Blood Debt on Blood Debt heroes. Vinsset, not so much, but Levia can turn off Blood Debt indefinitely. And she wants to take Blood Debt damage to be able to transform. So these in cold form I end up, again, holding quite a bit of value. When this attacks, Dabble in Darkness, when this attacks, banish the top card of your deck. This gets -X, where X is the pitch value of the card banished this way. Let me read that in my head. So it's minus, so it's 0 for 5. And ideally it's 0 for 4, right? If it hits a red. Again, we'll see if this sees play, but if you flip over Dimensional Vortex, which is a really, really odd card because it pitches for 0. So weird to see this, right? That a card pitches for 0. It's like Gorganian Tome. We haven't seen anything since Gorg Tome. This would come in 0 for 5. And Dimensional Vortex was Frankenblood. Shout out to him. You may play this from your Banner Zone. If you do, it costs 2 less to play. So this is a 1 cost. Banish cards from Arsenal. Interacting with Arsenal is super powerful. As a shadow hero, you may not mind banishing your Arsenal because you may still be able to play it. So this on chain is nuts, I believe. Obviously only on in Blitz at the moment, but you banishing your opponents. This isn't on hit; it just says banishes. So the second this is in your banish zone, it's an immediate control their Arsenal. They can see it, though, and it's an action. So unless you banish this at the right time, they're just not going to Arsenal for the rest of the game, I imagine. Or Arsenal something they are happy to get rid of. Or if it's a Shadow Mirror, maybe something they can play with. But it's kind of cool. Very cool card. Very unique card as well, with the no pitch. All right, we move on. There's Nazareth. Okay. When Nazareth hits a hero, banish a card from their soul. If a light card is banished this way, gain 1. So this is a specific anti-light mechanic on that. But a 6/6 is great against anyone. It costs 0 to attack with. So once this is out, similar to the other Shadow allies, they're very strong. They demand big attacks, usually 2 attacks from someone to get rid of. And it's 6 attack for 0. So you can pretty much full block and constantly attack. This is what I was looking for before. This is insane. Intimidating on the opponent turn, which is never happened before. Keep in mind, they can Arsenal that card. So it's strong but not broken, because they may not want to have played the card. It's very good against go wide decks, but even against go long or go tall, I think is the terminology, you might banish a pummel here. You won't know it's a pummel, or you might banish the blue that they were going to pitch to pummel, as an example. Very, very strong. I think Rune will 100% play this. Don't know if Levia will, but it's crazy good. I think this is immediate. It definitely replaces Crown for Brute, for Rune especially. I didn't actually see this. I'm not sure who spoiled it. Once per turn attack. This is maybe good for KO. With a specialization out, 1/6 is crazy, but you have to have rolled a 6, and KO is the one that can consistently roll 6s with the specialization. So I've missed some cards here. Anthem of Spring looks. I don't know how I've missed these. Briar Spec. Oh no, of course this was spoiled ages ago. This is the Briar Spec with Unity. We did see this. Oldham Spec with Unity and Lexi with Unity. These 3, I mean, Lexi will probably be a crazy expensive card if Lexi's still meta. The other 2, I don't believe so much. Although Anthem of Spring is strong, that's what I remember. The +1 go again is very strong. And the fact that if you block with it, create an embodiment of Earth, I believe this is a way to create 2 embodiments. So you get an embodiment of Earth for hitting on your turn, then you can block with this and create another one. This would make your non-attack action cards have +2, which is crazy. Your 2 block will become 4 block for the turn. Pretty good if you're versing another Briar, for instance, and you need that. But yes, that'll see play. Oldham's not going to see any play because he's out of the game, and Lexi is attack gets whenever the defending hero adds 1 or more defending from this chain. This deals 1 damage. This is dumb. I don't like that card at all. I remember seeing it and thinking, why? This is not going to be played, I can tell you now, as a warrior player. It's better than Merciless Battle Axe, but it costs 3. And I just don't see how we're supposed to play. I have no idea why they keep making warrior cards that cost more than 2. Like, there's just no way I see this being played. It's very cool. I wish we could play axes, but this does probably do a lot of damage in the game because it forces 2 card blocks to prevent all the damage, because more or less, including a sink will still take 1 damage if you sink below Decimated Greatest. But it costs 3, like you need 2 blues to swing with this twice. If this said once per turn action this, if you swing with this a second time, it only costs 1 or something, it would be crazy good, right? But there is no way for a warrior player to pitch for 6 and still find go again to swing with this twice in a game. Yeah, it's a lot of setup. Maybe that's the point. Maybe you play Decimated Great Axe as a combo deck with potions, but if you're going to play combo, play Bolton, ignore that. Love that we get a Warrior Shield. No idea how it's going to be played just yet, but a shield with Unity. I believe this allows you to block with it twice, because it says Temper, which means if you block with this and a card the first time, you're blocking, if the card blocks 3, you're blocking for 5, and then you block for 4 the next time, and then it breaks. So I think this is very, very strong. I would play it, but there's no one-hander that synergizes with this at the moment. I don't think you can play Saber or One Axe. Maybe Dory with Saber, maybe. But right now, don't see it being played. Sick card. I imagine this in Cold Foil looks absolutely schmick. Very, 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 very bullish on this card. Aside from the art being fucking gorgeous, I'm not going to... Look, this is how long we into this video. 24 minutes. I could drone on about this card for an hour. Legit, it's game-changing for Dory. Does it really bring us into meta contention? No. But crazy good card. I also just realized I missed some brute cards. I'll go back. But Unsung Versus is once per turn action, pay 1 your next sword attack. That's it. That's all you need to know. This is allowing us to sink a resource to give Dawnblade an on-hit before we swing. Braveforge Braces is after we swing and hit, we can spend the resource. Just alone, that ability to sink resources. So as an example, turn 0, I can pitch a red into that and pass just to filter my hand. Alone is very good. Temper means this blocks for 3 over a game, but it will break late game, which is just more balanced than Braveforge. But honestly, Braveforge is never ever used late game because you just don't ever have the opportunity to pitch into it. And you're very, very rarely swinging twice late game because, twice is more or less lethal late game. So I'm going to immediately switch this into my deck. I think nowadays Dory will be playing Versus and Vambrace. And that's our equipment. This is crazy. It also, remember, Courage Token gives +1 to attack actions, meaning I can swing if I'm on the back foot, I can pitch a yellow, swing Versus Dawnblade, create a Courage, hopefully they don't block. The next turn can be pitch 2 Command and Conquer for 7. That line alone makes me very excited. It would help me get tempo against Lexi, for instance. Like on full block, more or less. Arsenal Command and Conquer. 1 card hand, create a Courage token, and then the next turn, my Command and Conquer. Or Nourishing Emptiness as an example for 7. Dominate is nearly impossible to block. It's going to be great. Let's go back. I forgot these brute cards. Numbskull's crazy good. While it's in any zone, its cost to play, armor, and attack can't be increased or decreased. The downside is it doesn't work with Barraging or Bloodrush Bellows. The plus side is it completely nullifies Frostbites, which is crazy good. And nullifies the minus attack for Prism. So this becomes probably an instant brute inclusion into Illusionist because it can't be modified, meaning it will always pop an Illusionist attack. Dig Up Dinner, choose 3 random cards in your graveyard, shuffle all attacks with 6 or more, then gain that much life. Wow. I don't think I saw this. That's really, really fun and good. It has go again, so you can do that late game and then heal, and then you can do that heal and then actually attack. With one of those attacks, you just shuffle it into your graveyard. That's pretty cool. Starstruck's cool. It's 10 attack, 7 cost. The Crush, so 4 more attack. The only attacks that may be activated have to have base higher than what this deals. So if it hits for 10, they pretty much can't do anything. But if it hits for, let's say it hits for 7, they can only attack with cards that deal 3 or more, right? 3 or more? Attack greater, so 4 or more. It's a Bravo spec with Unity. This is going to see a lot of play in Shiana, I believe. It's very strong, but also very cool mechanic. Remembering Unity creates a Seismic Surge, so you put 3 of these in your deck, but when you have 1 Seismic Surge, you only need 2 blues to actually play the Starstruck. I like that Starstruck itself is yellow, so drawing 2 Starstrucks is a problem. But drawing 2 Starstrucks, you block with both of them, create 2 Seismics, very strong. Back to Warrior. This was my spoiler. Chorus of Ironsong, auto-include, I think, into Prism, but we'll see how well it works into like the new Shadow Armor, etc. if it becomes worth it. But the fact that it has Unity means I might actually just play this card as a yellow pitch block 3, and when I block with it, because it creates a Courage token, it just gives me value anyway. So I think this ends up seeing play just for the ability to create Courage tokens. If you draw Chorus of Ironsong or Ironsong Pride turn 0 going second, you have a huge advantage in the game. This is why I would play this. Because what I want to see is 1 or 3 of these, block with them, create Courages to start my full turn with +1 to 3. That's I don't need to explain why it's crazy to start the game 1 to 3. Murloc Hill is a lore card. I don't think it'll see any play. maybe in Blitz, but Minerva Themis is unless they reprint a Minerva that can be played in CC. This is a cool card, but it's not going to hold any value. Scepter of Pain. Pay 2, deal 1 arcane to any opposing and create rune chant. This is obviously great in UPF. Don't know how great it will work in otherwise, but it's a Runeblade weapon that acts like a wizard staff because it doesn't actually attack, it just deals 1 arcane. So we'll see, but this might be a cool... by the way, the beauty of this scepter is it doesn't count as an attack. So let's say you're playing one turn kill Viz and you're creating rune chants. You can use this to deal 1 and create a rune chant, but it itself doesn't attack with the rune chants because it's not an actual weapon attack. So it's cool. This doesn't count as attacking. Also, it says opposing target, allies included. So you can poke allies to create rune chants with this, in other words. Dyadic Carapace, Arcane Barrier 2, and Temper 2. Huge card. Some people don't think this is good, but trust me, you're going to see this played a lot in defensive decks, so they might still play Tunic. But this blocks for 2. It blocks for 3 over a game and Arcane Barrier 2. It's insanely good against Icelander and fellow Runeblade. So this is like the pajamas for Wizard, but for Runeblade. Viscerai Spec, don't know why, because... But anyway, next Runeblade attack action, you play less for each rune chant. This is a little bit like Skeleta, actually. It's a red Majestic. I think this will see play in CC. Lost in Thought. Illusionist action. Look at the hero's hand. Choose an action card. If you do, they put that card on the bottom of their deck and they create a ponder. This is massive because it's a little like the Phantasmaclasm mechanic, except you can just remove the popper, but they're also playing with card disadvantage. So you can also remove the blue and they just don't have a turn if they can't pitch it. Generic action, Censor. When this hits, name a card. They can't play a name card until the end of the next turn. Obviously huge into decks like Bolton. It's 1 for 5, which is already quite a strong attack rate with a non-hit. This is huge against combo decks, etc. This is also huge because you can play this in decks that run things like Razor Reflex. I think they made it a 1 for 5, so it can't be pummeled, by the way. But 1 for 5 is very strong. I'm surprised it's not a 1 for 4. That might end up being quite an expensive card. Hold the line. If the attacking hero has drawn 2 or more cards, prevent the next 3 damage to be dealt to your hero. So this is 0 for 5, effectively. But we'll see if it sees a lot of play. It's very, very situational. Maybe into... trying to think of what decks draw so many cards, like Briar does. There's a couple of other decks like Wizard, but they don't attack you. But then, you're preventing 3-0 for 3 prevention. I don't know. We'll see. Remembering it's a defense reaction, actually, you can't really play it against Wizard. But, again, we will see. Prism will draw a lot of cards, I believe. So that could be where this fits in quite well. Warmonger's Diplomacy with Bolton in the art. This is kind of cool, but again, it's not thematic till we see a lot more UPF players. Sorry, not thematic. It's not a PvP, player versus player card, really. Each hero chooses war or peace. If they choose war, they can only attack or play attacks. And if they choose peace, they can only play none attacks. Very cool concept. Just slows everything down in a UPF game. Poison the Well. Next time a hero would gain life this turn, instead they lose that much life. This is hilarious because someone plays a Sigil. You play this, you win the game. Let me tell you. Will it see a lot of play? I don't know, but if there's a lot of life gain in your local meta, people playing life gain, Ira, or whatever, this is hilarious. It's just an instant counter to Tome of Findle as well. I feel like I've missed a card. Maybe they just haven't updated this yet. There's a generic... I've missed a few. I've been trying to speed run this. Diadem, a Dream State, once per turn. It's Illusionist Headpiece, legendary. When this or a non-token with ward is destroyed, you may pay 1. If you do, create a ponder. This is quite good. I do believe we'll see this played a lot because creating ponder is drawing at the end of the turn. It's just free arsenal, really. And in a deck that plays instants. Actually, no, End of Turn you can't play the instant anyway. But either way, it has ward 2, so in and of itself it blocks 2, but it has a mechanic that you pay 1 and get an arsenal, more or less, in a lot of situations. Flicker Trick, Mirage. Oh yeah, this is the 0 for 5 defense reaction, but if it blocks an attack with 6 or more, destroy it. This will be very good at the decks like Fire, etc., but I don't think it'll see a lot of play, because if you need to defend something for 5, it's very likely it'll be a 6, if that makes sense. And Lost in Thought. We did this one. I don't know why I missed so many cards. But if I missed a few, that's fine. Like I said, my picks are the Levia redeemed in Cold Foil and in Marvel, and Empyrean Rapture to be like the most expensive cards that will come out of this set, and every Figment. The rest are more situational. There's no super powerhouse generics, I feel, that people are, there's no Command and Conquer in this set kind of card, but there's a lot of variety. And also, don't forget, there's Crown of Providence reprint is confirmed. So thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.